All right, so good evening and welcome to this week's BossConstructor development stream. Today, greetings Fustran, good evening. So today we are going to implement the next module which has been voted for, and this module is the micro armor. Let me just briefly show you the results. So the micro armor is basically just a 1x1 armor plate, which can be used to, fill those annoying holes in your ship or in your hull, and in general, just give your ship a little bit of better protection. Since this module is probably pretty easy to implement, I mean, not only probably, because it doesn't have any actual, specific functionality. It's basically just a different skin for the Titan armor. And in effect, we will probably have a bit of time left today. So I thought we might begin to work on a space dock. Well, Space Dock doesn't really have any functionality. It's just, a different graphical look for the editor mode. So yeah, if we get to that, we can play around with it a bit and see what we can do. Okay, so let's get started. So basically I have close this guy. So basically, I want to make 1x1 armor, and I'm thinking of making 3 different shapes. So one shape would be like the base armor plate, which can be, filled in a few different ways. Let's move you a bit here. Yeah. The second variation, so to speak, would be like a triangular armor. Why can I not draw? No. Something like this. And I guess the third version would be a round variation like this. So you can make your ships look a little bit more organic and less edgy in a way. Okay, so let's get to it. So very simple module today, 3 different graphical variations which will all behave the same. And if we have time left, the space dock. So let's get started. Okay. Armor front, armor left, right, left. All right. Let's start using this graphic. Let's call it armor M for mini. Armor M square. Let's make it smaller. Yeah, so the let's begin by doing the middle one here, which will just be like a shortened version of this guy. So I'm thinking of just removing the left half, if that's possible. So I guess first of all we should move it so that it aligns with the 1 by 1 thing. All right. Alright, so the top part is sort of done. And now let's fix the bottom one. Alright. And finally let's fix the shadow down here. Alright. So this is pretty much the height map for the square version of the 1 by 1 armor. So let's export it. PNG. And I guess before actually continuing, I will just make the other versions here. So we have the triangle version. So I need to make sure that it is symmetrical so that we can fit it any way we like later on. So especially that we can mirror it, and I mean not mirror it, but that we can turn it left and right and have it, you know, look not strange, which is a very specific way of saying this. All right. Okay, so we need to put a little bit more effort into this. Okay, so I guess it makes more sense to really do it from scratch here. Yeah, so let's just keep these for reference for the colors and make some new shapes. Yeah, guess that makes more sense. All right, so this is going to be the bright one. So let's have a look at the color. Okay, 246. All right. And I sort of don't like the hard edges here on the this, so I'm thinking of making it a bit softer, like this. Okay. And the same thing over here. All right. Now let's make the slightly lighter shape below this one. So 219. All right. And finally, a darker shape here in the bottom. Okay, 102. Oh, and it's not, is it? All right, okay. So I guess this is going to be our triangle shape. Just fix these guys, okay. Okay, so let's have a look at how it turns out if we convert it to actual graphics. So let's save it and export it. Armor and triangle. And I guess we can do the round one. Yeah, let's do the round one afterwards. So okay. So apparently I forgot to export the square one. Classic mistake. Actually, I always get a bit confused by this because you have to specify the path to it here. Not here, here. And then you have to click on export, and I always forget that you need to click on export afterwards. So yeah, it's my mistake. Okay, so let's turn our height maps into actual graphics using my magical shadow script. Let's delete the stuff we don't need. Alright, and let's turn down the shadows by a bit. Okay. It looks a bit too strong actually, I'm not entirely sure why. So as a reference, let's open the actual armor modules which are in the game so that we can adapt the brightness to it, like here for example. Okay, so the shadows are much lighter here compared to here, so we need to adapt it a bit. Okay, actually the shadows are much lighter. Yeah, I guess about this, and this is also much brighter, so we have to increase the brightness. It makes sense. So not entirely convinced. It's still a bit too bright. I mean, I guess we need to scale it down a bit to make it comparable to this one. Let me just briefly undo what I just did. Increase this guy. Okay, these are all at 20. Yeah, the shadows need to be a bit weaker on this one because since we have a diagonal shape, the shadows will turn out a bit stronger due to the way that I approximate the shadows in my script. So it's not entirely, how should I put it? I mean, it's not entirely correct how I do it. I look at the shadows in 4 different directions, and if you have a diagonal shape, it will sort of overstate the intensity of the shadow. Yeah. Okay. Nevertheless, sort of not liking how the edges are so intense. Guess I'll have to turn this down a bit anyway, or maybe apply a bit of transformation to this guy. Let's try. Oops. Yeah, I guess this will work. This should work. Okay, like this. Maybe. Okay. And now we only need to adapt the brightness, which should be higher on this layer. All right, should be good actually, should be good. So let's save it. Let's export it. The diffuse map. Oh, not here, but here. And triangle, okay. Next, let us create the normal map. Yeah, first one, I made the script myself. GIMP has like a scripting language in which you can generate, make your own scripts. It's like the worst syntax ever, unfortunately. I mean, you can do it in Python and in Scheme, it's called, I think. So unfortunately, I only got it to work in Scheme, which is the more horrible one. But if you like, I can show you how the script works, basically. So if you want to create something similar yourself. Okay, so let me figure out what I did here for the 204. Okay, for the color mask. Okay, so brightness is already sort of correct, which is nice. So that should pretty much work. Okay, I'll show it to you in a second. So this is going to be the color mask. Yeah, okay. Where is it? Oh, this is the wrong file. Okay. Turn mask. Okay. And finally, let's make the normal map. Normal. All right. Okay, so that would be it for our triangle one. And I guess I can use this one to show you how it's done. So let's make a few duplicates of this layer. And I think if I remember correctly, I use the directional blur. Yeah, exactly. So basically, if you want to have shadow to the left, for example, I use like movement blur into this direction, like this. And then, let me think of it, then I just subtract it from the layer below. So this is probably the other way around. Oops. Yeah, I guess this is pretty much it. So this is now the brightness of the shadow to the left. Yeah, okay. So if I make a copy of this and paste it as a new layer, for example, and disable all this stuff and make a new layer and an alpha channel Like this. Yeah. Then we just fill this with black, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so here we have our shadow to the left. And now we can change the shadow intensity, which I think is a pretty neat little trick. So basically this is what the script does. So it does it in all 4 directions. And you can also do the opposite, like in order to make little exaggerated light. I'm not really sure how you'd call it, like little light highlights or so, maybe. Yeah, well, anyway. Okay, so that's pretty much how the script works. And let's show it again in all its beauty. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So basically in game there is like normal map based shadow and highlight calculation, but it's not as, you know, it doesn't look as good if you only do it like that. So I found that the combination of doing the normal map based stuff and this shadow script over here turned out to give the best results. Sorry. All right. So 2040 for this one. No, 2050. Basically, I'm just trying to make it look as similar to the existing armor as I can, so that there are not like any holes or strange looking things later on. Did I actually export this one? Yeah, I did. Okay. Okay, so I need to make it brighter. Whoops. Here. Yeah, pretty much like this. I guess, oops, I can add the space texture from here, which might give it a little bit more detail. So how much is it here? 50? Okay. Well, I mean, to be honest, this is sort of pointless what I'm doing now, because I realized that the stuff in-game is so tiny that it's actually really hard to see these details at all. Yeah. So yeah, I could just skip this step basically. But on the other hand, I want to be as consistent to the graphics which I already have. So yeah. Good, let's save it. Armor M square. Okay. Let's export this current graphic as armor M squared to our thing. Okay. Then let's make our color mask a bit more consistent. Yeah, I think the combination of doing normal map-based stuff and classic pre-baked shadows seem to work best. Yeah, fully agree. Okay, so mask. And finally we need our normal map. And unfortunately I sort of destroyed the original texture, so I need to get it back. This, okay. Alright. And let's turn it into normal map. Okay. And normal. Alright. So this should pretty much give us our triangle and square shape. Now let's go for the round shape. So let's close this guy. Let's save this as armor and round. Alright. Yeah, and let's just experiment with this. So this is a bit too round, I guess. So maybe half the stuff. I think that looks sort of nice, actually. What do you think? Could, what happens if we increase it? It goes a little bit further outside. I guess I should take some time to understand how this actually works. Always sort of guessing a bit, to be honest. I think this looks sort of consistent, I guess. So let's adapt our other stuff to it. If you put the splines all the way back, it would be a true round shape. Okay. If you pull the splines all the way back, what do you mean by all the way back? I don't know what I want, to be honest. It's not like I have a real plan for. So is this a round shape? No, not really. I mean, we can also delete these guys so that the round shape begins a bit earlier. Basically right before the vertices on top of them. On the way back. I don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't get it. Okay. Okay. Okay, no problem at all. So I guess let's just go back to this version. Which does look sort of round, I guess. So now let's make this part equally round. No idea what's happening here. I think it looks sort of roundish. All right. Okay. Do a little bit of fine-tuning here. Yeah, it looks a bit smoother, I think. I can also let it start a bit further below. Alright. Alright. And then I guess we can make this lower part a bit bigger. The inner part of the white portion. In the middle? You mean over here? Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. Okay. Yeah, that looks better, I guess. Can also make it a bit rounder. Okay, and I guess I want to give a little bit of roundness to this guy as well. I just think it might look strange if this part would, you know, not be round. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, nice. I'm guessing it will... Yeah, actually I'm quite interested to see how this looks in, you know, after the magic script is applied. So let's export it. Let's make a few duplicates. Okay. Yeah, I think it looks sort of fitting. I think again we need to try to make this outline a little bit, you know, a little bit sharper, I guess. Yeah, maybe like this. All glory to the curve tool. I mean, what can it not do? Yeah, I guess you're right. I could, you know, make the script a little bit more efficient by. On the other hand, the values are actually slightly different for different module types. So for example, for weapons, I try to make them a little bit more contrasty. So I usually take higher levels and yeah, I mean, usually I go to like 30%. So I could make this a bit more efficient. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's make it brighter. All right. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay, and finally the color mask already looks quite good. All right. Okay, so let's go. Comma M round mask. Not here, but here. Okay. Then the normal version. And finally the normal map. Yeah, we'll see how they fit to the existing armor. I'm hoping there is not like a gap which we would have to fix. So, good, let's go to our Titan armor class. So just in case you're wondering, some of the early modules are named in German, which is not very helpful for consistency, but yeah. Okay, so actually I can start calling these correctly. So armor M square, I guess, would be the first one. Armor M square, okay. It is 1 by 1. Cost multiplier is 1.5. And hit points would be 60. Okay. Armor M square. Then we have armor and round and armor and triangle, which are all the same. Good. So then we have to add it to our module list. Well, okay. And then we have to add it to our research tree. So I'm sort of thinking of making all these available right from the start. So round triangle square. And finally we need to add localization information for these. Like this. And we can pretty much just steal the description for the Titan armor. Alright. And the same for the German version. Okay, that should pretty much do it. So let's have a look. Repair bot particle effect, okay. Makes sense actually. Makes sense. Yeah, I'll put it on my to-do list. Wait a second. Repair mode, repair effect. Okay, good. So let's have a look if it actually worked. Okay, so we have our little guys here. So let's try it. Okay. Okay, it seems to work, sort of. So let's try the round ones over here. Okay, I think the only difference to our existing modules is that the color mask is not the same. So I guess we have to fix the color mask, but otherwise it's sort of nice, I guess. So let's see how just getting round ones looks like. Oh, it actually looks sort of cute, doesn't it? So if we want to make our ship more friendly looking, it actually, I mean, it does make a difference, right? Nice. It looks way more friendly now. Let's see how it looks in No, the collision shape is not accurate. Collision is always square for modules to me. But it feels rounder, right? This could be the start of a whole generation of round modules. Okay, so normal maps seem to work. I think they're a bit darker here, but nothing like too much to worry about. Yeah, I think the only thing I'm going to sort of improve is the color mask. Let's just put some triangle ones here for testing, and a few square ones here in the middle, for example. Oh, I thought I'd fixed that bug. Apparently I didn't. Okay, so yeah. Color mask correction time. Like this, I guess. The square one. Yeah, you are correct. Yeah, for a 2x2 round module, I would have to do something about it. That is correct. Okay. Square mask and triangle mask. Actually, I should take a look if the brightness is actually the same for these guys. Which it is probably not. This is 204. This is 255. Nah, it's a little bit too bright now. So I guess we have to turn down a little bit. Like this. Maybe 221. Yeah, this is better. Okay. So square mask. Same here. Yeah, I just want to avoid that these guys are, you know, more colorful than the other guys. So. triangle mask. Triangle mask, yeah. Okay. Good. Good, good. Thank you, Fustan. I'm actually still working on the smoke effect, because the black smoke is... I'm sort of trying if I can, you know, replace it with a bit of brighter smoke. Yeah, Tommy, actually that should be possible, because every module is a singular fixture. So yeah, it should definitely be possible to improve that one. Okay, so I think now it sort of fits in. So it's still not entirely, you know, fitting, because it's a little bit thinner and a little bit more on the outside, but I think for now it's okay. For now it's okay. Yeah, it doesn't really stick out too much if you have like a normal viewing distance. It's actually, I really like the round armor, to be honest. It's a sort of the module which is pretty, you know, easy to implement from a technical side, but which will probably make a sort of a big impact on how you design chips and how they look. So let me just run random ship and beautify it a bit just for the taste of it. Let's take our alpha ship, for example. Huh? Why not? Why not? But at least these guys look good, sort of. Alright, so we have a lot of defense modules now. Let's have a look at the stats. They seem to be correct, except the costs. The cost is 15 for the big ones and 15 for these ones, which is not correct, I think. I mean, these guys should be like... Wait a second, how is it calculated actually? This is strange. I mean the... okay. So yeah, every module has at least a cost of 10, which shouldn't really apply to these guys, so I'm just going to set the cost to 8, which is around half of the other guy. Half of the standard Titan armor. Man, I should really put an effort into like saying stuff. Okay, armor round. What? What? This is strange. For some reason Sublime doesn't find my module. That's really strange actually. Ship, defense. What? What? What happened? It's gone. It's just gone. What? That's a strange bug. I mean, they are here, actually. But why? It's really strange. I guess I should restart Sublime Text. Okay, now it's here. I have no idea what was going on there. Really strange. Whatever. Alright, so that should solve the issue. Okay, good. Actually, I could remove all these images because they are in the texture atlas now. Oh, whatever. Okay. Good. Good, good. Okay. So next, I was thinking of making like a spaceport background for the editor. So currently, currently the background of the editor is pretty much just a grid overlay over the regular space background, and I'm thinking of making it look like a bit of a spaceport or like a space dock or something. So I do not have any like super concrete plans to do it, but I think it would definitely look good. We could even try to make like shadow effects below the modules, which would look pretty cool, I think. Okay, so first of all, let's try to get some inspiration from other like spaceport, space dock thingies on like Google Images or so. Okay, space dock. Okay, so let me just briefly address your question about cloaking. Yes, it does make cloaking more effective. And I can actually show you the formula for it. Okay, it's a bit complicated. So basically having multiple cloaking modules reduces the power you require to remain cloaked. So if you have one cloaking module, this factor will be 1. If you have 2 cloaking modules, it will be 2 divided by 3. And it will go down even more. So if you have 3 cloaking modules, the energy cost will be half as much as if you have 1 cloaking module. Yeah. So I guess I should... I'm always in two minds about such a thing. I mean, this is sort of like a completely arbitrary formula. And I'm always not sure if how much I should communicate this in the module descriptions, or how much I just want to let players experiment and figure it out. But yeah, I guess this one is pretty counterintuitive. So yeah. Drone-based hangers don't uncloak. This is actually something that will be addressed by the next patch. So it is already fixed in my version, I think. The same for the trails behind the propulsion modules, and some other stuff. Wait a second, let me just look at... Actually, the next patch will be relatively big, because I have added some multi-threading to the particle system. So this should actually bring a lot of performance improvements on some systems. Also some bug fixes and improved performance. Okay, and thrusters, shields and interceptors are now cloaked. So the same what you are saying was also true for shields, which were still visible when you're cloaked. It was sort of stupid. By the way, I can just add the repairbot repair effect to it, to my list of things to improve. All right. Good. Good. Okay. So back to stealing some design ideas for spaceports. Okay. Some very nice Star Trek-y stuff. Okay. So it's actually a lot of yeah, okay. So a lot of huge spaces, obviously, armor plating, some things with elevated height, and a lot of texture, obviously, on top of it in order to make it look interesting. Like the hangars that look like frameworks, like these Star Trek ones, I guess. Or these ones. I mean, in a way, both is possible, right? I mean, I could make sort of a slightly transparent hanger, which would shine through in the background, and actually, that would probably look best, right? Yeah. I guess in this case, since I do not really have any, previous module which looks the same, I'm actually going to make just one test graphic and see how it looks in general. Yeah. Just to get an impression of how we want to make things look. Space dock SVG. Let's make it relatively big. 124 by 124. Actually, no, not here, but in the document settings. Okay. Okay. And let's just add some random shapes and see how they look later on. So we could do it like this. This looks so bad. I'm sorry. Oh, and they are also slightly transparent apparently, so... Yeah, you're right, I probably should go to like 2K by 2K at least. Well, I'm not convinced at all, but let's... I mean, this is really just for testing to see how it looks on the... how it looks on top of the space layer, and so... Okay. Stop. PNG. Okay. This may look pretty strange because the... it's actually pretty horrible. Wait a second. I need to make it at least... I need to change the color a bit. It's too transparent. And... yeah. Let's do it like this. Okay. So it shouldn't really be transparent. That would be a bit odd, to say the least. Okay, export it again. And now let's apply our script to texture sizes it has never seen before. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry. So in order for my script to work, I need these colors to be black and white. Yeah. Because I couldn't figure out how to change the colors. may still be wrong. It seems correct actually. All right. Now we really need our space texture to give it a bit more detail. It is probably too small. It's probably too small. Yeah, this is going to cause quite some headaches actually. So for now, let's upscale it a bit. And let's set it to multiply. And edit and duplicate it. Move it around. Duplicate it once more. Well, I mean, needless to say, we will need to add a lot more detail later on. This is just for testing. Yeah, but still, let me make it a bit brighter. So. Spacedoc.png. Okay. Okay, so now actually before doing that, let me just export the current version to Steam so that I can have that done before doing the new stuff. So micro armor and performance improvements. Three variations of 1x1 armor. Okay. That is today's patch. Then add it to the patch notes. Then we build it. Then we export it. And yeah. Good. Okay. Good. Oh, actually, while we are at it, we can take a look if we find a better space texture. What is the site which I bought membership to? Texture. Oops. How is it called? Textures. CG Textures it is. Okay, so wait a second. Patch notes are correct. Okay, so let me just push it to Steam. By the way, it is not immediately available on Steam. It is just uploaded. I need to manually activate it later on, but at least I can now change the current working version without it affecting what is exported to Steam later on. Okay, so let's have a look what we have here. We have metal, We have bare metal. Oh, okay. Which actually has some nice effects which we can lay on top of our existing modules. Yeah, CG Texas is pretty nice. It costs like, I guess, like 50 euros or so for a year. And they have some really nice high quality textures. I like this one actually. I like this one. It also has quite a big resolution, which would be sufficient for our needs. Okay. Good, but before we come to that, let's actually use it and see how it looks like. So let's go to our editor. Render grid, render clipboard chips. Okay, so now we add render background. Render background and how is it called? Okay. Texture atlas get subtexture. Oh, wait a second. Did it actually work? Wait a second. Actually, my texture atlas was almost full, so I kind of want to check if it actually fits. So. Oh, it barely fits. Okay, here in the corner. Okay. So we are not quite yet beyond our capacity, but if we make it 2K by 2K, it won't fit anymore. So I'm just going to have to add more stuff. One of the spending backgrounds. Yeah, actually, yes. Actually, that would look cool. We can experiment a bit with it. I'm going to put it at a different height layer than the other stuff, which will already sort of get us a little bit of, you know, a height feeling. Space block, okay. And then we render it. How is it called? Render. I'm looking for a version which has like vertical placement. Okay, can use this one. Render px, py, pz, sx, sy, and rotation. Okay. So let's try -50. Rotation is 0. And I'm not quite sure what the correct size would be for this one. So just going to try 20 for now. Okay. Okay, and let's bind the white color for this one. Okay, so let's have a look. It's going to look so bad. Okay, it's actually way too small. For some reason. Ah, okay, it's because it's so far in the background. Okay. I mean, but currently, what you mean, Frustrant? I also want to give it sort of like a bit of panning or so, like in the other modes. can I do it the easiest way? So I mean, I would like to have the mouse position to have a bit of an impact on where stuff is. Wait, let's try that. So first of all, let's fix it a bit. So I'm going to make it not as far below the module, and I'm going to make it a bit bigger. And then I'm going to go to the camera mode for the editor and play around with it a bit. So I just have to see how the mouse position is calculated here. Okay, we have mouse.getX and getY, which is calculated as mouse X and mouse Y. Okay. Yeah, so let's try it. This is probably going to fail, but yeah, okay. Decals category on CD textures. Yeah, there's actually a lot of cool stuff there. Actually, you're right, actually, I should take like an hour just to see which ones I can use for the game. Okay. 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 So it's a bit too much movement, obviously, but so currently the problem is that the estimated mouse position depends on the viewport, so basically it's sort of reinforcing its own movement, which is not what we want. But the base functionality is sort of correct, so we just have to take a different approach to calculating this stuff. By the way, this part is actually really horrible in Slick 2D. If you have a 3D plane and you want to calculate the mouse position on that plane, it turned out to be pretty horrible. Mouse px py viewport. I guess you can just take height and width and use that part. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, it is working sort of. It is not, you know, like centered around the middle, which it should be, and it is also not really. It's also a bit too strong. Okay, but basically it's working. So let's decrease it and. Okay, I guess it should scale the same in all directions, so let's just take the minimum of width. No, waitress, yes, more, yes. Like this, okay. And minus. Okay, let's give it a try. I think the Y movement is actually the wrong way around. Yeah, it is. Right. And I wonder if it's still a bit too strong. It may well be, apart from the fact that it is moving in the wrong direction, of course. But it feels sort of good. It looks a bit wonky. Yeah, you are correct. The vertical movement is incorrect, I think. Okay. So let's just fix these things. So first, going to just invert it for the vertical stuff. Then we're going to go to our editor, make the plane a little bit closer and a little bit bigger. So maybe like even 50. What else? Well, let's just see how it feels. Okay. Okay, so I mean currently the background is really a bit distracting actually. So that definitely needs to be improved, and I guess it also needs to be a lot darker actually. But overall I sort of like it. This little like parallaxy stuff. I was also considering to make like a little shadow below the modules, which might look nice if we have a little bit of a backdrop, but okay. Yeah, currently the background is really distracting, so we need to improve that. Yeah, exactly. It needs to be a lot darker. And it needs to not suck. All right. I'm also sort of considering if we should make the Like, should the background fit the size of this grid, or should it stretch beyond? I'm not entirely sure yet. And if it were to fit, then we would need to. Okay. Let's test a little bit more. I don't quite understand actually why the size here doesn't really fit. What does it? Stand. What does it? So let's make it so that it is exactly behind that one. And let's also make it gray, just to get a feeling for what it could look like. Building area hanger. Yeah. Ah, ye olde American spelling. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if it is darker, it really is much better to see the ship, obviously. And I actually also like it if it fits the size of the building grid. Yeah, so that looks sort of nice. And I still need to. Okay, so now let's try to make it a bit lower. I mean, this will have the bad effect that it will not fit the edges all the time, but I'm not sure yet. Oh, something reminiscent of the artifact. Okay. I mean, that would make sense. I mean, conversely, we could design some stuff which we would then add to the artifact design. Yeah. Okay. I sort of like it. I'm still not entirely sure if I like it better when it fits the border or if I like it better when it's a little bit below. I mean, if it is below, then I should increase the size, I guess. So let's try that. I mean, either way, it will need to have, some sort of edge to it. So I guess I will have to make it a little bit bigger either way. So. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, if we make it move, I mean, like putting it below the layer, there will always be some edges which will not fit, which sort of disturbs my idea of how I want it to look like. Also, the horizontal position is not very good. So I should fix that. I think the reason why the horizontal positioning is not good is that I need to account for differences in width and height. I guess like this, maybe. And let's try to make it a little bit closer. Okay. I mean, I need to test this on a lower resolution later on, but either way, I should also turn on anti-aliasing so that it looks a little bit nicer. Okay, so given what we've learned, it should be square, like the building grid. It should fit the building grid and sort of give like a visual representation of where you can build. It needs to be at least 2K by 2K, and it needs to look a lot nicer, I think. Yeah. And I guess we'll also have to do the shadow manually, because the current script which I'm using is sort of focused on having very small textures to look properly. Center of mass icon should be a toggle. Yeah, I guess it could be. I mean, I could put it on like one of these overlay things, for example. Oh, I could maybe make these be on even higher plane, but whatever. Okay, this is just an overlay. Good. Oh, but maybe it would look good if these info layers would be slightly above the actual ship. Well, whatever. Good. Okay, so let's design a better spaceship. A better spaceport, sorry. Okay. So Star Trek really likes these wireframe thingy spaceports. Yeah, I see a point in, you know, removing or making the center of mass icon a bit more pretty. Yeah. Oh, there's a Lego spaceport. Okay. Okay. I guess we can take this thing as an inspiration, I guess. Oh, so like this design. Okay. Like the FTL one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, if the editor one looks nice later on, we can make something similar for the hanger, actually. Oh, that would actually be pretty cute to have like small versions of our ships in the background. Might be really cute. Actually, I really like the idea. Okay. I'm not sure yet how it would look with the I don't want to say how it looks with the UI on top of it, but yeah, I guess we can sort that out later on. Okay, so I'm sort of thinking of making one big frame and then like little wireframe things in the middle, similar to these ones or these ones or the other ones. Yeah, I have to say the Star Trek-y ones look sort of nice. You just have to sort of figure out how it looks from top down, so to say. Okay, so let's delete all this crap. It's actually a pretty bad idea because it has to be transparent in the middle, so I have to make it in 2 parts. Yeah, stacking different, yeah, that would probably look pretty cool. My experience so far is that having and drawing large textures has really bad performance impact on some systems. So I'm a bit hesitant to do it, but yeah, you are correct. It would look pretty cool, so maybe we can experiment a bit with it later on. Okay, so let's add a little bit of a dark frame to it. And let's make a duplicate and add a little bit of a gradient to it. idea what I'm just doing. Linear gradient, this one? Maybe? Yes, maybe. Okay. Okay, come here. Here. Okay, and let's decrease the intensity of this effect. Okay, so yeah. So part of me thinks that given that we have such a huge texture, we need to add a lot of detail. Another part of me thinks that we should keep it relatively simple in order not to distract from the actual stuff, but yeah, let's add some detail. Let's add some detail. First of all, some little filler things here, which are a bit lower. I mean, we will add a lot of detail, obviously, when we add the texture later on, but still we can do a bit more. All right. Okay, let's add a little bit here. Okay, and now let's add some these things which go through the middle. Don't know how they are called. Alright. Yeah, obviously the textures later on will really add a lot of detail to this part. Okay. Thank you. I'll look at your post later on or tomorrow. Okay. Okay, so for now, let's copy this stuff to the other side. Okay, and then let's add a frame going from here to there. I'm looking forward to read it. So. Yeah. Good. I'm sort of inclined to just continue and see what we can do by adding textures. So, first of all, let's copy all this stuff. So does it look like a reasonable space hanger, dock thing? I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out. So first of all, let's go to full 2K by 2K resolution. And before I continue, I'm going to take a very brief break. So I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Okay, see you then.